Okay guys, welcome Koowheel owners and Koowheel potential owners. You're obviously tuned in because you want to see how the thing is holding out after some 4.5-5 months. Look, so far so good, that's all I can say. No problems, nothing of any issue. I will say I've heard a lot of reports online about people having problems with disconnection issues, people having problems with wheels blowing and wearing out and motors going. I've heard stories about, what else was there, overheating or something, disconnection issues on the battery. Look, this is the D3M, the second version, and if you've bought a Koowheel skateboard probably in the last 6 to 8 months from the date of this YouTube vlog, you will have the D3M. So that will be the one you've got, which is the current version. There's no antenna coming out the back here. There's the antenna's in the deck, machined under the grip tape. There's no connection issues. There's an upgraded chip on the controller. So yeah, there's just nothing to worry about. I'll take you downstairs and I'll show you a couple of quick hacks you got to do with in terms of the battery pack, padding it, and also to check the nuts and bolts don't move. There's another little hack. So let's go downstairs and I'll quickly take you through that. Hey guys, just updating you with the Koowheel. Had the board now for about 4 months, and I've done about 200 kilometers, probably 140 miles on it. So far, absolutely incredible, not a fault with it. So the wheels are not loose there, not loose here. The actual bearing wheels are not one bit loose, and this side not one bit loose. Now if you listen to the microphone, you'll hear the quality of the sound of the wheel when I spin it. Other one. Okay, so yeah, just incredible. Nothing loose in here, nothing moving. The battery pack's great. No screws loose. So all in all, so far, the Koowheel is surpassed all my expectations in terms of quality build, and I've heard a lot of reports out there these things are playing up with people, but look, if you get it from the factory, from the proper Koowheel company, from China, Alibaba, the Wow, whatever, Shenzhen Wow or Technology Tuan company that manufacture these, you'll have no problems at all. I can't guarantee anything else from anywhere else. Just go directly to the manufacturer and the factory. Nothing's loose on these. The wheels have hardly worn down at all. Okay, but one little thing I will say, the battery pack on it does move. Watch, listen. Close up. There's a movement just in here. So look, even though they're screwed down at the other end, if you look closely when I move that, there's still movement. At this end, it has to move on that connector. So a way to do this is get yourself some foam rubber from a hardware store or Clark rubber in Australia. It's about that thick, but it's very soft. If I can just get us focus on this. There we go. Very soft. It compresses quite easily. And by doing that, that soft foam, self-adhesive, I tried putting it along the battery pack along here, along the back. I tried putting it on the end of the battery itself, but it sits off too high. Now I know this board, as you sit on it, it flexes, therefore the battery pack comes up. But if you look the gap between there, there's a decent little tiny gap, maybe 2 mil. Maybe 3 mil. Now that gap, the more you stand on the board, it takes the battery off even more. There's felt under here, as you probably know, under the battery pack. So I tried putting this rubber here. I tried putting a strip at the end of the battery. It didn't work. It bent it too much up, and I think there was too much vibrations on the battery all the time. The way to do this, cut yourself a small piece like this, a little piece of V like that, just like that there, and then come down here, slide your battery out, and just use one finger from the bottom of the barcode, one finger thickness, and about ends here. So if you just put that bit of sticky, I'll come around here better and show you, and just stick it on there like that, right? And it's self-adhesive, this stuff. You push it on, it's quite hard. When you slide the battery pack in, it gets caught wedged in there. This still clicks in to its battery compartment. There you go, click. And this is now buried deep into here, and guess what? No movement. And you've still got the gap between the bottom there, exactly the same factory set gap. It just stops that moving of the battery all the time, and any movement that way could put pressure on those connectors. Even they got 2 screws here, like I said, it's still going to move. So that's a little hack. All you need is a piece of this self-adhesive peel-off foam about that thick. You can just see the letter of the Koowheel. I'll just give you an idea with the K. That's a thickness. So it's a little bit skinnier than the K. And yeah, just put a little wedge in there. As you can see, it's just sitting nicely in there. I can get it better than that, more deeper in. That's because this is rubber on the end. You want to get it in on the bracket part, but that will stop that from moving, and that could be one of the issues we're having with the battery moving a connector. But that's all you need to do to it, really. The bearings, as you can see, are the high quality rubber bearings. They're red. If I can just get a side-on angle of this, if I can lift it up. And they're really good bearings, okay? So these bearings are grease-filled, I'm pretty sure. Rubber seal grease fill, which means they're waterproof, dust-proof, whatever. You don't have to change the bearings on these Koowheels, they're good enough. They really are. So, yeah. 3-4 month update, guys. I know I look like I'm a bit of a over obsessive, salesman selling these things. I'm not. All I am is a guy that just loves his product, and being the second electric skateboard I've reviewed, it's come up as being in the 9s out of 10s. And as long as you look after it and ride it properly, and don't go over gutters, and don't go over cobblestones, and don't take huge hills every day, and you ride on smooth surfaces, and don't hammer the hyperdrive switch too much, I think you'll find these things will last years and years and years, maintenance free. They're certainly my go-to reliable electric skateboard at the moment. I'm reviewing the Onan, as you guys know, and probably hanging out on my review coming. It's on its way. But yeah, rubber on the side there, stop that movement. One more little quick hack. Every single nut on this, I would get a little white marker pen from a hardware store, like a it's called a I forget the name of it now, scriber pen in white, and just make a little mark there and paint just from the nut down to the washer, and then do the same thing here from the side of the bearing mounting to the truck hanger. Also do it on these little tiny bit of white line here, Sharpie pen, that's what they call, sorry, white Sharpie paint pen, little fine line, just a line from the nut down to the bottom of the steel, and then on that one there, that kingpin as well. Now the reason you do that is if there's any movement in the nuts, they're going to show that line move, and without having to know, by tightening it and cracking the Loctite, you really won't know whether that nut's moved. And this, kingpin's moved. Whether the two here on the VESC controller also needs to be marked in case they come loose. These ones here are spring loaded, so they will always rattle a bit, and there's nothing you can do about that. But they don't need to be touched. And you could probably make a line on this across here to the bearing itself, and see if this nut comes loose as well, because or screw, because that is something you don't want to crack the Loctite off and then have to re-Loctite it. Okay guys, and one more thing, this little rubber protector that protects these two screws that holds the battery in, it doesn't go the other way. I've seen people face the other way. Of course it goes this way, so any stone chips don't hammer those screws. Okay, it should wedge in nice and tight, and I've ridden mine for probably, you know, like I said, 100 kilometers, it's never fallen off. But a little another little point, a little hack, is get a piece of this foam, cut a piece about that wide, like that, and then just place that double-sided tape, which comes with it, across that there. I'll cut it to trim properly, but that being stuck on there after the event will keep this from coming off and you're losing this. So that little bit double-sided, you know, curved around there will look good, and it sticks really good to this double-sided tape, sticks really good to metal, so it'll just hold that in from coming off. So another little one. As you can see, it's on now. I've just put it on. It just sits there beautifully. There's no way that's going to come off. There's no way. To get this off, you've really got to peel that like that. It's quite tough. That was the best hack for this particular problem. I thought of putting Velcro on it and a touch of silicone on both sides, but this is a beautiful idea, because you just peel this off and you can reuse it. It goes back down again. As you can see, it goes back down. See? So you can just reuse that each time you take this off to change the battery for whatever reason you want to change the battery, which only would be to travel or put another battery in, really. But that can stay on permanently if that's the case. There you go.